Welcome back to the Perfect Lap Podcast. I'm Mark Jager, this is Mark Kilgore, and we have a special guest today, Mike Reyes. Mike Reyes, who you might also know as Boss Racing. All right, guys. So we just got done. We talked about finals. We talked about having Mike Reyes on the show. And just like that, Mike Reyes graces us with his presence. So, Mike, first of all, I'm going to say, appreciate you coming on the show. Really, really enjoy all of your social media content. I know I say this all the time as we do our show here. You give us a lot of good stuff to look at. Boss Vision is a real thing. People need to enjoy it and get a part of it. So, kind of do us a favor. Let's start this baby off with basically a history lesson in the Mike Reyes land. Where did you essentially come from? How did you get from, like, I didn't know who you are to the man, the myth, the legend of Boss Racing?
Well, yeah, so it actually happened pretty quickly in terms of, how much time I've spent tracking and doing time attack. It's like minuscule. It's really tiny. So I started tracking in April of 2022, kind of seriously. That's when I got the Supra. Before then, I did like 3 track days with like a Subaru, a 2015 STI. And then before then, and this is my coolest car I've ever had. I had a 240Z that I would like autocross, but that thing really sucked. It had like it had a Chevy small block and like stock
Oh,
suspension. I didn't know what I was doing. But basically, I've loved cars ever since I was a teenager. Maybe a little bit late bloomer than most people who are into this. But I never really had money to like actually have a car to race and stuff. So, you know, once I started making adult money, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finally do this thing. And that was April of 2022. And I was like, I have a little bit of disposable income. I'm just gonna go for it. Um, got the Supra because, well, I was obsessed with seeing Jackie Ding just race the Supra on YouTube. And I was trying to think, I had an Audi S3 at the time, which was like a totally weird, I don't even know why I did that. I had my midlife crisis like way too early. And I took that to a few autocross events and it didn't want to turn. And I was like, oh, that's kind of boring. I want something that's fast and I could take to the track and I know it works. And watching Jackie Ding's videos, I realized like, wow, this is a really great platform.
I will
So
say this. I will say this. You, along with like I bet you we can't even fathom what Jackie Ding has done for time attack, for car culture, and I mean for Supra sales. It's absolutely insane how many people we get saying Jackie Ding inspired them. Just throwing obviously one day we plan to have Jackie Ding on the show. He's such a talent, such a personality. But I love hearing that, and I love hearing you say that because it's just one of those things where you have these individuals that really help things blow up like that, and Jackie has definitely been one of those.
absolutely, he was a pioneer for the platform in time attack, and he pushed it to a level where a lot of his records still stand, and he's still incredibly quick in that car, and we're all trying to chase him. And I think now we're seeing the might of the Supra. He started it, and surely it hasn't ended yet. There's so many other time attack drivers in the same platform that are just killing it. And yeah, I mean that's the reason why I got the Supra is because I knew it was so good. And I think the reason I'm here today is because I fell in love with time attack through his channel, and then I got to experience it on the lower level and local time attacks here. Realized like, oh, I'm not too bad at this driving thing, and then I kind of put it out there on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. YouTube's kind of recently, but I've been very vocal on Instagram, showing my small wins and the progression I've had as a driver and with the car. And I mean, it's all up till now, it's all a culmination of all the hard work that I put in. And people who have watched me drive since the beginning know that I've put in a lot of like seat time. Um, I'm not I'm not just showing up and thinking that I'm gonna do great. It's like I when I first started, man, I was at the track like every week. I like bled my
That's
account
awesome.
dry because of that. And a lot of people gave me grief over like why would you go with a Supra over a less like a slower car, drive a slow car fast at first. I was like, well, I don't know. This is what I did, and there's no going back, so I'm just gonna keep going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely everyone has their different approach, right? And you're going to
Right.
get a lot of people that are going to say like, "Oh, you should have started off with a Miata or a Civic or something like that, and then done a
Nah.
building block stage." But it's one of those things like you're going to take one of those cars and you're going to throw away, and I shouldn't say throw away. You're going to invest, 10, 20, 30, $40,000 into that car to continue to increase the speed of that car, or you could take that money and invest it immediately into a Supra, and you already have such a capable platform. So I'll ask you this: you said you kind of started off in some local, regional time attack forums. What were some of the forums that you were able to get into? I know a lot of people would be really interested because people do kind of tend to see like the global time attacks and the grid lives as this upper echelon. Like I can't go out there and compete. So where were you first starting at?
So there's a great time attack series. At the time, it was a TRD series, and now it's GR Movement, and it was all for like Toyota cars, and it was a nice small event that they piggybacked on top of Speed Ventures. So very accessible. It's kind of one of those things where like you were going to the HPDE, and then I realized like, oh, I could compete in this thing and see how I stack up against these other people. So I started doing that and realized like, oh wow, I can meet other people who are doing this thing, this time attack thing, and they break it up in different classes, and it was cool. It was a good series to kind of sink my teeth into, and there were tiny other ones that I competed in. I think Technocraft was one of them, and Narita Dogfight held like an attack challenge at Chuckwalla, like when I first started, and yeah, there were a ton of tiny little ones, but they were all tacked on to these HPDEs, and it gives you like a little bite-sized piece of like a real competition. Because when you're at these smaller events, the cars aren't set up like crazy. Like this past weekend in GTA, anytime you go to a grid life or a GTA, you're just like, oh my god, the amount of money that people spend on these cars is insane. And I feel like if I started there, it would just scare me away like immediately. But these smaller local ones, it's like, yeah, everybody brings their car that they drove there in. So, yeah, I really appreciated these smaller ones.
So that brings up a good question that I wanted to ask you, which was, and I don't know, was GTA Finals like your first official Global Time Attack event, or had you done any before that?
Yeah, so the first time I ever competed in GTA Finals was last year,
Okay.
2023. And that was the first, yeah. That was the first
Okay.
like serious one. I did actually, you know what? I should back that up. I did Grid Life, their like street special last year, and that was right before GTA Finals. But I don't know, the Grid Life like street special, like when they come out to Willow Springs, it's a little bit dialed back from what the normal scale is. I'd say GTA last year was like the first like serious time attack that I
Sure.
competed in. Yeah.
So I get what I really was wondering was like going to Global Time Attack Finals. I've never been. I've been to Super Lap Battle, even with Grid Life. Um, I won't give you my answer. I want to see what your answer is. Does it feel any like what was your experience, right, in terms of going to finals? Does it feel like any other track day, or can you definitely feel like a different sort of vibe there in the paddock and at the event?
Oh, the energy is like completely different. Um, Everyone's quite serious. Like in HPDE, everyone's socializing, everyone's having fun, but at something like GTA Finals, everyone was all about business. That being said, my garage at this year's GTA Finals was awesome, and we had a lot of good fun. And it wasn't all serious, but for the most part, everyone's there to do one thing, and it's to win. And you could feel that; it's palpable.
Sure.
Yeah, I will give you this. I mean, in your first ever GTA debut, per se, you did finish fourth place with a freaking fast lap time of a 151.0, which completely astounding. I mean, for your very first debut, and a bigger thing is there was 21 competitors in that street class. So to finish fourth out of all of that, that was astounding. And we don't want to make your head too big real quick, but this year you came out really swinging, and you said, guess what? I saw what I needed to do, and I brought it up a notch, and you brought in a 148.3, making you the number one seed in street class this year. So how good was that feeling to take home that victory?
It was incredible. That weekend was a dream, really. I mean, the whole package was incredible. I had an amazing team behind me, and everybody who knows me, like when I go to a track day or any competition, it's just me. I might bring along my parents, but they're just there to watch. But it's just me on the car, changing temps, like changing my tire pressures and like checking temps and doing all the stuff by myself. But this time, for the first time ever, I actually had people there to support me. And that alone felt so good. The winning was fun too, but being able to experience that with my friends and family was incredible. And I will say, my goal when I started Time Attack, this was the goal. This was at the top of my list. I wanted to win GTA Finals because I knew that everybody who was insanely fast and very serious would come out to these competitions, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could drive against them, and I could drive against the best time attackers here. And we achieved that weekend, and it felt insanely good, mostly because last year when I placed fourth, I lost out of the podium by like 0.01 seconds. And that stung me. That stung me like 100 hornets. Like I was proud of myself because it's my first outing, and I think all week, like leading up to it, I was running like 154s, and then I drove like I was possessed, and then got that 151 flat, and I was really happy about that because that was my PB. But to lose the podium finish by 0.01 really hurt, and this year I made sure that I would put myself in a position where I gave myself the best chance to win it all. So I got really serious the whole year, made sure that I progressed myself in the car, and I guess we did it.
What all did you do this year? And don't have to be super detailed, but like high level.
Oh,
what did you sort of
detail.
do to
high detail?
Well,
high detail.
Okay.
We've got
a limited amount of time here, but
how much time do you guys have?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess in terms of like your own prep, and then as well as car prep, because it definitely seems like like about a month or the month or two leading up to GTA Finals, it definitely seemed like you really made some pretty big changes to the car. But give us an idea of just what you've been doing this year for the car and yourself to find that extra time, to meet your goals.
So I think although the car went through an insane transformation. I mean, it's easy to see, it looks insane now, and it's faster, has more aero, handles way better. But I think the number one thing that I attribute my success this year with is the coaching. I started working with Michael Ryan Johnson, who's a racing coach, and my driving has improved like tenfold. It's one of those things where I started, and this harkens back to people telling me like, oh, why did you start with the Supra? It's going to teach you bad habits, and unfortunately, it did. I had a lot of power, and I didn't have a lot of skill. So a lot of muscle memory came in the form of me being really heavy-handed or having a lead foot and not the best steering inputs. I used to drive like an absolute like caveman because you could see me like just like sawing on the wheel and like the car's just like going crazy. And I thought that
I remember seeing all that.
I know
Yeah.
you saw it happen, and it's like I thought that was fast. I thought that maximum effort meant that the car is going crazy. I'm going crazy inside the car. When I started working with MJ, he dialed it all the way back and built me back up. And I think you could see it in my driving now. It's much smoother. It's much more tame, collected, and that is the number one thing that I worked on this year with him, and it's proven to be more effective than any turbo kit that he was able to put on the car.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because like you're absolutely right. And I feel like it just goes underappreciated, especially with people getting involved, especially someone like right at your level in terms of you've only been in it for just a couple of years, right? Like it's really hard to convince people, look, spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, right, on coaching. That is far better than, like you just said, $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 on a new set of tires, on a turbo kit, on a set of brakes, right? Like you will get far more gains in that $5,000 investment in a coach versus $5,000 and an additional 200 horsepower.
I know.
Well, a big thing there is also just that skill, that ability that you got can go with you to any car. Whereas,
Right.
whatever you're going to purchase for said vehicle, that's just for that car, just for that moment, and you could need to upgrade in a shorter period of time. That driver skill is going to continue to be around and be there and available to you at any given time. So again, I mean, we're gonna harp on that one pretty hard because we want people to understand the benefit there far exceeds so many other things that you could accomplish and do, and that's something that people genuinely kind of skip over. They generally go and get that turbo kit instead of getting that driver education, essentially.
And I think there's something to be said about people who really don't want a race coach, because it's very it's interesting because racing coaches are not cheap. That's like there's a reason why they command their day rate is because they're really good and they're about to change your life and change your driving. But there's also this stigma that's like, I don't know, with racing, very macho, right? A lot of people want to believe that I don't need help. A lot of ego. I don't need help. I could wheel. I'm really good at behind the wheel. And it's like, sure you are, but do you want to be better? And if you're really good behind the wheel, then why the hell aren't you racing professionally? You know what I mean? Most coaches are professional racing drivers. Like MJ literally flew in from Sebring, driving a Lamborghini Super Trofeo, and came to GTA to help little Mike Reyes kind of just go around the track really fast. You know what I mean? It's like he's a real coach. He's a real deal. And he's worth his weight in gold. I'm just gonna say that it's crazy.
Did you ever get him in the car and he provide any feedback in terms of car setup, things like that, data traces, right? Like a lap to kind of show you, here's what I'm doing, here's what you're doing, things like that.
Here's the interesting thing about his style of coaching is that he never set a baseline in my car. I was the baseline in my car, so he saw what I was doing wrong and seeing ways to improve it. And we just focused on the small things, just because he knew that there was a lot of muscle memory to work back on. He had to fix a lot of it. So instead of showing me what is capable in the car with him at the wheel, he just kind of looked at the data of what I was doing and how I can improve myself going forward in that car. Because I feel like if he got into my car and showed me, look, you could do like a 45 in this car, it wouldn't compute in my head. Yeah,
I get you there. It's definitely something where I think in your case and what you're doing, and in many people, it works out to just go through the data, to look through it, to watch the video, to understand and start manipulating those muscle memory movements, right? And start saying, okay, how can we learn to cut this out? How can we learn to gain this? Let me ask you this. how's your ability to convey what's going on in the car to him? Did you guys? I mean, a lot of the coach-student relationship kind of stems off the concept of building a solid communication and relationship as a whole.
I'll be the first to say that my feel in the car is quite numb. Like I'm not one of those drivers who can tell you every single thing that I'm feeling. The way that it worked with MJ and I was he would just pull up the data on AIM and show me like, okay, this lap you did this lap you did this, do this. And I would be able to lock in on that where, you know, he would find things like, oh, you're lifting right here, don't lift. I won't lift. But in terms of me telling him, oh, I feel like the car's slipping on entry, or like my exit feels like a little slower, some like really detailed notes like that. I'll be the first one to say I kind of suck in that aspect. Still much to learn, but I think as talking to me from coach to driver, it's like talking to a baby probably. So yeah.
Hey, but the big thing that I found over the years is you can say a lot as a coach. You can give a lot of advice, but if the student isn't taking any of it, if they're not taking the information that you're giving and making any changes, it's a waste of time anyways.
Sure. Yeah.
So
no, totally.
That's probably
absolutely.
a biggest part of that is, so if you're willing and able to take the information given and start making changes, that's going to be the difference. That's going to be the ticket that gets you, 3-4 seconds off your lap time and be able to continue to pull better laps at any given time. So
yeah, for sure.
It's obvious
and there's definitely also as you were saying, Jager, there needs to be a communication, highway that is free flowing between the driver and the coach. And as a driver, you need to be able to hear what the coach is saying and understand it, right? But if the coach isn't conveying it in a way that makes sense to me, we need to figure that out, right? Or, and this is okay. It's perfectly okay. Sometimes maybe the coach and driver, that communication just doesn't really work, and that's okay. Find a different coach. Their feelings aren't going to be hurt, right? Like even as coaches, I've heard them say multiple times, I have no problem if you want to go to another coach to see, right, if you have a better relationship, a better fit with them. So definitely something, if you're a driver and the coach is telling you something, but you just don't really understand it. And from your perspective, as you were just saying, Mark, Jager, if I'm the coach and I'm telling someone and they just don't seem to be getting it, is it me as the coach? Do I need to try and tell them a different way? And eventually you may just be like, right, like our communication just isn't great, and that's okay.
Yep.
That's not a problem.
Exactly. So, okay, give us a quick, we started going down the path, but give us a quick rundown. Like what do you have on the car in terms of aero, power, some of the big contributing factors of the car that you believe are the best?
Yeah, so just the changes from last year to this year, I definitely have more aero. I have a race bred splitter that is legal. It's like 5 inches from the bumper. I have a new cool bumper that Hannah Burton gave to me, and it just completely transformed the looks of the car. And as far as I'm concerned, if you have a cool looking car, you're just going to already go faster. But from last year, I do have like an RS Future diffuser that is gorgeous. Upgraded. I have a full titanium exhaust. Switched to MCS 2-ways. For power, we went with a pure 650. So last year I was on a stock turbo. This year we went with the pure 650, the CSG spec fueling system. And now I'm running port injection because I have the CSF intake manifold. So it was about a 120 horsepower increase from last year on my kill map.
That is a lot.
That's a lot, but that being said, it's like, though I'm not sure if because we had an issue with the car where it was slipping the transmission because it was just too much power. So once you start doing that, you go down a path where it's like cracking open Pandora's box. It's like I kept slipping after the first time. It's just kept going down, and I was basically breaking the car all weekend long and just hoping that it would hold together. So practice was really good. Then I started going to my kill map, and then we noticed that it was starting to slip and go into limp mode. And by Sunday, I only had one lap in it. So every session, I only had one lap that I could run. I would go out on my out lap. The car would just like totally die. Go back in the pits, turn it on again. Then I only had one lap to like an out lap and a hot lap, and that was it. Wow. After that, it would start slipping and like doing some weird stuff. So I'm not sure. I had my tuner kind of turned down fifth and sixth gear to mitigate the slipping, but I'm not sure if we tapped into the full 620. Sure as hell felt like it on my pliers. It felt mega. It was like so fast. But yeah, it's a big horsepower increase, and I mean the lap time also kind of reflects that. The car is a different beast. It's an absolute monster now, and it puts down the power incredibly. Like out of the corners, it just rockets.
Well, and it's interesting to me because I look at some of the other Supras, and Kilgore knows a lot of this too from the grid life stuff, right? Some of those Supras out there, you're talking, what are they, Kilgore? In the 700-800s?
7. Oh, yeah.
At least?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
for sure. 7. I mean, you've got, I mean, Kyle McHugh's probably, he might be running 900. Definitely 800s, maybe 900.
He's in the 900s for sure.
Yeah. And then there's a couple other guys who, also run. Yeah, easily, 700s if you throw a turbo kit on there. So it's easy power. Like it's so
it's
easy.
not that easy apparently.
Well,
yeah, it's
there's always supporting mods for sure. And you may run it like Mike said, you may run into some other issues that you've got to address. But still, I mean, like, come on, and that's just the way the cars are getting these days. 600 horsepower, you can hit 600 horsepower on stock turbos. You're going to be maxing out the system. Whether that, especially for the B58 engines, same thing with the S55 and my M4, right? Like, you can do that. But as soon as you slap another turbo on there, I mean, it becomes pretty easy. And not to mention, and Mike can probably attest to this, he had some new G Series M2s and M4s, those guys running him down, and that new S58 engine is even more capable, right? Like, you're easily running 800 horsepower with a set of turbos. You're in the 700s now with, downpipe and a tune, maybe running ethanol on stock turbos. Like, those things are just ridiculous. It's getting crazy, the power that some of these cars are doing now. So
just think, Mike, you could have stuck with that Subaru, and you could have done a complete motor build. You could have been spending money on turbos, and the likelihood of you blowing it up is high, and you could have been around 600 horsepower.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know. It's I love the Supra. It's so good. It's the problems that I had this year were mostly because of budget. It's like I didn't have like a crazy budget. I tried to cut corners as much as I could.
How much do you, not to try to pry too much into your wallet, but how much do you think, a roundabout number, just to kind of give the viewers here an understanding, do you think you put into the car to get it to this point?
Fuck. I don't know.
You never do the math, Jager. You never do the math.
You always have a number in your head, though, where you go, that probably cost me roughly $50,000 or $60,000 or something like that.
I would like to tell you a number, but I literally stopped counting, because if I did count, I would probably
Smart
quit.
Man.
Let's look at it this way. And are you running SPL suspension arms on? Yeah. Okay. So look, you're at $10,000 for an MCS two-way remote setup with SPL suspension arms.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a good round number.
That's it. And it's tires too are super expensive.
Yeah.
I had two
What tires
fresh
you
sets
running?
I was running Nankang CRS V2s.
Oh
and,
man.
Yeah, and you know, and we talked about this, Jager, when we saw each other at GTA. From last year to this year, I realized it's like, oh, this isn't a game. You need to have fresh tires every day. And that's what I did. I got 2 fresh tires. I had 2 sets of wheels, like for Saturday and Sunday.
Are you running Titans or Apex?
Titans, yeah. Titan hopped on board with me, and we had the really cool brushed clears for TP10s on Sunday. My game day shoes, and
exactly.
It's that was expensive, dude. That was expensive. 2 sets of tires. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, 2 sets of wheels, 2 sets of tires, right?
Yeah.
That you're at another $5,000-$6,000 turbo kit and all the sporting mods. You know, several $1,000s. Aero, you know, it probably $2,000 to $3,000 per component, right? And these are just very general numbers, right? So it's like we're in the $30,000 range ish. And that's a very conservative estimate. There's a lot more that also goes into it for sure.
Yeah,
but
thank
just
you,
I'm trying to help Jager out. You can all put it on me. Put it all on me.
I wish I had a really good photo of the rear end of your car, because that diffuser looks so perfect on that car.
Oh my god,
it looks amazing.
Oh, that's one of my favorite parts about the car. It's an RS Future diffuser, carbon diffuser, but my buddies at P2 Fabrication made the shroud for the back, and that's what really sets it off. It looks so cool, and I have a side exit on that side too, on the driver's side. It's so good.
Yes,
it is quite good.
Whew.
It's perfect.
Tell us a little bit about the new livery that you just had on. I know there was a group out of Socal somewhere, I think, that did it. I can't remember exactly what their name is. Is it the Race Shop?
The Race Studio, yeah.
The Race Studio, that's what it is, yeah.
So, they're out in the Inland Empire. Insanely cool spot because they do great liveries.
They did Mike Burrows.
Yes.
Ferrari. Yeah. That's where I first heard about him and saw him.
And that looked great. And I remember seeing that and going like, oh, these guys have to do mine. And I met the owner, the co-owner, Devin, who is a designer, and he designed the whole thing. I gave him one task. It was like, I want this car to look at home at a tax scuba. Like, I want it to look like it belongs in Japan. And I think we hit on it. I think we hit on it. Some people might not think so, but I think so. And that's all that matters. But I think it looks great. I mean, it before the livery, I don't even know if you can call my old livery a livery, because it was just because I didn't have a lot of money and I just wanted to wrap half the car to make it look like it was like race car-y. But this is like a full-on thing. It looks super cool. I'm really happy with it now. I mean, I was feeling a little creatively like frustrated whenever I would look at the car where it was like gray and black. I was like, this is cool, and people knew the car because of that.
Yep.
But I wanted something new. I wanted something fresh. I wanted to stand out on track and have a good-looking time attack car. And I think we did it.
Yeah, I was a little worried when you first put it out because I've never dealt with it, but I've heard other people complain whenever you have to be very careful whenever you use like a chrome livery.
Yeah.
Because it won't always really come off well, especially in pictures.
Yeah.
But props to the Race Studio and those guys. They were able to nail it because it actually does. Like, you can see what it says. You can see, like, it actually looks very clear. So they absolutely knew what they were doing with it. And it definitely looks, it's very clean. It looks awesome. Definitely looks really good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and they busted their asses for it. We were super crunch time on this thing. Like, it's kind of dumb how late we finished, mostly because like just schedules didn't align properly. But I left for GTA on the 6th because there was a Socal Drivers Club test day on the 7th. We finished the dyno at 5 p.m. We finished dyno tuning at 5 p.m. on the 5th. And the race studio got my car, and it was just like pure white at this point. They wrapped it. They got my car at 6:30, and I left their shop at like 1 a.m. So it was like down to the wire.
Man.
Yeah, props to them. Love those guys. They worked really, really hard.
You know, and that's some of the stuff that people really tend to omit, right? People really don't think about those type of people, those type of things that have to happen. We run into those things all the time, and these guys pull all-nighters. Tuners work deep into the night. Your crew people are helping you out, getting car transported, getting things done. So it's a much bigger effort than people really come to realize. You mentioned it earlier, where normally it's just you at the track. And I will say this, you know, coming from my experience, one thing I did love was, as me and my group of guys started getting the team bigger and bigger and bigger and doing different things, I love that because it made us all so much tighter, right? It really reinforced those bonds with all the team players there. Man, it was just something where I can always look back in time and, you know, think about the people that were there, supported and helped, and, you know, dude, they gave up big chunks of their lives to get us out to the track. So, you know, big props to those type of people who are consistently helping get all those things accomplished so you can get out to the track and, you know, turn the wheel a few times to go get a lap done.
Yeah, I mean, they're just as obsessive as we are, and I love working with those people. It's like the people who are obsessed with getting you ready and getting the car out there. I want to surround myself with people who are just as obsessive as me.
And that's how you're going to succeed, right? Those are the things that are going to make that difference. And that's what I always tell people, right? You're trying to make sure you find those people that can groove with what you're trying to do and be there when you need them. Because I will say this, right? When you're at Global Time Attack, as you were, and you're trying to throw down the fastest lap time you could possibly do, and you need to have time to spend with your coach, and you need to be able to review data. And if you're busy putting wheels and tires on a car, if you're busy, you know, trying to adjust AOA on a wing, if you're busy doing those things, it can take away from what you could be gaining. And I know that sounds kind of fiddly, but it's crazy how just a buddy with a wrench, you know, with an impact gun can make such a huge impact on your ability to gain lap time. So, you know, and if you got to buy them a few pizzas and a couple beers, you know, if you got good enough friends that'll take that as payment, dude, that's the good way to go right there. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I think that's one thing. That I'm learning a lot this year, right? So this year, like it was really my first kind of full season that I did with Grid Life, right? So I did 4 races. I did Super Lap Battle at the beginning of the year. These 4 races with Grid Life, did Time Trial Nationals. There is no reason not to at least be prepared. You have every ability to at least show up for the weekend and be prepared, right? Like, if you're not showing up and you're not prepared, that's on you. You know, I get that, like, stuff happens at the track and you have to deal with that. You have to adjust. You have to figure out. You have to troubleshoot, figure out what you can do. That happens, but that doesn't at least mean that you can't show up with a car that is prepared and you're prepared as well. And I think even what I'm learning more is even in terms of, okay, knowing what I want to do when I come off the track. Well, even before, right? Like going on the track, if you want to have a checklist, if you need to have things like, okay, here's what I need to do before I go out on track so that I'm not, so it's, Group C, come to grid, and you're like, oh crap, I'm Group C. Now you're rushing, and now things aren't set up, and now you've wasted, right? Maybe you didn't get the tire pressures where you wanted. You didn't change something that you needed to. You forgot to put a memory card in your camera, and now you don't have a camera. You don't have your data. All of those things are things that are within your control, and you should have some processes in place. I'm not saying you have to be a full-on, IMSA race team, but a little bit of planning and preparation can go a long way. And then the same thing for coming off the track, right? Like when you come off the track, have some processes, have some things that this is how I do things every time I come off. I'm going to get my camera. I'm going to have my computer there and ready and set up so that it's easy to just pop in my memory card. I'm going to have my, my AIM data log or whatever it is that you use so that I can get the data off, as well as do whatever things you need, do whatever you need to do with the car, or whoever is working there with you, helping out, like have them know what they need to do. It's those little things that I think a lot of people, I don't really think do that, right? Like they just sort of, this is just sort of how I do it. I'm just going to kind of figure it out. But just a little bit of thought there can go a long way to make sure that you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. It's like a thing that I've tried to implement in my driving and just like the way that I am in competition is this idea of like maximum effort, where I want to set myself up for the most success. And what that means for me is, just like what you said, I want to set up these processes that make it easy for me to perform. And,
Yep.
and I think, some people need to implement more of that into their strategy, because it's like, if you just roll up, like you said, where it's like, yeah, this is what I got, I'm just going to go out, whatever. That's okay for an HPDE, but if you're at like time attack where it matters, you have to take it seriously, and I think you owe it to the sport to take it seriously. I hope this is something that people see in me when I'm competing. It's like I'm trying to give it everything. Like if I'm competing, I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success. And I'm not just like messing around. I'm really trying here. So I think, just giving yourself that little bit of I don't know, just like extra foresight to set yourself up to actually have less stress when you're competing goes like such a long way.
Yeah, we used to go as far as create checklists. So guys would complete the checklist during the between sessions to make sure that and before we went on track for the first time. And those were things that you could go down the list, fill all of it out. That way you were solid to go into the next thing. So to go on to the next, right? So what are we really looking at for next year? What are we looking at to expect from you, Mike?
For next year, this is something that I've been trying to figure out, because I'm developing another car right now. I have an EG Civic that I'm building, and I want to do more Club TR and do some of that. It's kind of funny. I'm going a step back into a lower powered car like we were discussing in the beginning. I just think it's really fun to drive like that little car, because after I got it, I think I got it like a year and a half ago. It's been super fun. But now I've gone completely insane, like ripped out the heater core. It's completely gutted. I have a K20 in it. It's so dumb, but it just seems like a fun platform for me to take a step back and learn a different type, like an FF, like I'm not very fast in an FF car. I've known rear wheel drives basically in my whole time that I've been competing. So I think this will be a fun challenge for myself. But in terms of me and the Supra, I think Socal Drivers Club is gearing up for their racing team, and they want to send us out to more competitions. So I think the Supra is going to take a little break for now, but I think I'm going to push it even further. And I think we're trying to figure out if I'm going to make it out to COTA. I would love to. There'd be a lot of stuff that I have to do before going out to COTA. But I'm so jazzed on the Supra now that I brought it to like another level, and I'm literally at the surface right now. I just like opened the little door and I can see how deep I can go. Like Kyle McKee is like 900 horsepower. It's like right there. It's like I can touch it, but do I want to? Does my bank account want me to? Maybe not. But I think I want to push the platform. I want to catch up to these guys who are putting down insane times. It's I want to just keep competing. That's the bottom line. We scratched a little bit on that earlier about like budgeting and how much things cost. And that's a thing that I'm going to have to figure out within the next few months. It's like, can I afford to go as crazy as I did this year in development and just keep that up? Because, you know, at a certain point, the amount you spend and the amount of money you make isn't matching anymore. And it would be kind of sick if you won some money at some of these time attack events, but that's not a thing, you know. We do it for the sport. We do it because we're passionate about it. And hopefully, I don't know, things change and I'm able to go out to more. Yeah. I would
to
love
kind
to
of give you an idea, what we used to do with the Supra back in the day is kind of we used to hit it really hard for a year and then kind of bring it back for a year. So that way the bank account could kind of recover for a year. And so that's why you'd see like these big changes, big movements on the car. We'd take it to like Road Atlanta at the time. And then the next year it would all be interstate, you know, only California. And then again, the next year, then we would try to reach out and touch some further events and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people do, whether they know it or not type thing. They end up in a situation of, you know, I think Kilgore kind of did that this year, right? Where he went balls to the wall and, you know, he went to Coda, he went to Laguna, he did events, the NCM, like he went to a lot of events this year, competed a hell of a lot. And I could be wrong, but I think Kilgore is going to take a little bit of a lesser approach next year and not go quite as crazy.
I don't know.
TBD.
It kind of seems like he's...
His face is saying otherwise, though, at the moment.
Yeah, he's got his foot on the gas.
But, I know. Well, it's so hard because, right, like you get that first year and then you're like I want to go back. I want to I want to do better. I want to keep competing. But it's so hard. And I mean, we see people do it all the time, right? Like Ferris this year definitely didn't quite do as many, you know, he had hit it hard for a couple of years. This year, you know, he was doing more international stuff, which is completely cool, but just didn't do as much this year. And that's the natural ebb and flow, I think, of people in time attack. I don't know if it's necessarily specific to time attack, but there's definitely, I mean, it was a lot to get the car out to Laguna, and I would love to go back. I would so love to go back next year, but like I just don't know. You know, it's going to be tough, and we'll see what the budget says for this year, and we'll see what the chief financial officer says, my wife, you know, about the budget. You know, we'll see, but for sure. I will say this: if you're wanting to help Mike out, you guys need to go check out Boss Racing. Order yourself up a camera mount. Help him out. That might be able to get him out to Coda. Let's support the guy.
This guy's got a beautiful car. I think it needs to go onto a shirt. I think you could make some amazing shirts with this car. Sell some good merch for your stuff. You know, help support the goals, right?
Help support the goals, exactly. I mean, listen, like, if I could do this as my full-time job, oh my god, this would be amazing. But yeah, it's tough. It is, especially when it's all coming out of your pocket. It's you got to look at yourself in the mirror every once in a while and like, what is this? What are you doing?
Well, and I think you hit it right there, right? Like, at the end of the day, this is all coming out of your pocket. This is your passion. This is what you aspire to be. This is whatever you make of it. So at the end of the day, when we talk about time attack, right, yes, we're talking to you because you won first place at Global Time Attack Finals and you've been building an awesome car and doing great things. But a big thing is, overall, I'm looking at the list of the entire finals listing, and there's a ton of people that I'd love to talk to. And to kind of take a step back, we were talking about taking a year off. That's what Jeffrey Ting did, right? Like, he took a year off because his family and all those other things. He took a year off. Now he's back at it. He's coming back at street class. I mean, he finished with a 152 in street class in a front-wheel drive Civic. So, and it's just those type of things, right? You have to look in the mirror, as you said, and understand where you're at with your life and making sure you're good. But that's why I kind of love Time Attack, because it's about the passion. It's about the ability for someone like yourself to build a car, to start essentially tracking a couple of years ago, and essentially building a badass car, developing himself as a driver, and just continue to get faster and faster and faster, and then start getting recognized by companies. And then if you're doing amazing marketing like you're doing right now, like I can't see why any companies wouldn't want to be a part of your racing program with all that you're doing. You're doing so much more, and this is something that I can't state enough. You're doing so much more than 90% of the other people that are out there driving right now. And I say that because you're not just posting your fast lap video. You're posting awesome footage, awesome content that's engaging and people want to watch and can't get enough of, right? So, I mean, I know for me, when I see a new story from you or something, or a new post, like, I want to watch it. I want to check it out. On YouTube, you're posting stuff on there now. So, if you keep doing with what you're doing, your trajectory is shooting you high, right? So I really love seeing everything that you're doing out there, because it's so awesome to see. And it's something that I think all people in Time Attack should really be looking at and aspiring to, and saying, look, and I not trying to take anything away from this, but it's like, is it easy? No. This is not easy. But is it achievable? Could every single person be doing what you're doing? And the answer is yes. Yeah. It's achievable. It's just, just as well as I do what you're doing. How many hours do you spend with this content, with this information, trying to get the words out? It's a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Jager. It's like, I really do enjoy putting out videos for everybody, because I initially didn't want to do any YouTube videos or any vlog style, because I thought, like, who's going to want to listen to me talk and ramble? But a friend of mine just told me, like, there might be some people out there that see you and that's all they need to get out there. And that's actually been really great for me, seeing these people who tell me, like, hey, I saw your videos. I went to my first track day, and now I'm, like, tracking. I was like,
hell yes.
That's insane, because that's what Jackie Ding did for me.
Yep.
And I've let him know that like a million times. So if my videos help somebody, if I could peel back the curtain enough so people can see that you could get into Time Attack, or just get into tracking in general, it's not that scary, then I'm all for it. It's I feel like there's been a lot of gatekeeping in the community a little bit, with builds and just how to get in and all this other stuff. It's like, we should welcome all the newcomers and all the beginners, because without them, what do we have left? Like, we need people to drive. We need the youth to drive. We need people to join these competitions. I think, back when GTA was like Redline Time Attack, like, so many people came out. Like, it was like a crazy event. Like, there's people everywhere coming in, and I think that we need more people in Time Attack to just push the envelope, and we need to be battling more. And I want to see new faces every time. And I think I do, but I want it to be more than what I see now. And I'm the fresh face, I'm the newcomer. A lot of the new, like the OGs, like yourself, Jager, like, I'm sure you see me like, oh, this is the new guy. And it's like, yeah, I would like to bring more new guys, gals with me. And I think it's just better for the sport, for more people to be in it and more people to be excited about Time Attack.
So then I'm gonna twist. We're gonna go a little arc in a different direction. Ooh. And I'm gonna say this. So give us a few things that you love about Time Attack, and that you dislike to hate about Time Attack.
I dislike to hate, or I dislike about Time Attack?
Just dislike's okay. I'll say it's okay.
Well, I'll go with the main thing I love about Time Attack, and it's so specific to Time Attack, because racing in general, when people think about racing, they think about wheel-to-wheel, Formula One, NASCAR, or whatever.
Do you have any interest in doing wheel-to-wheel stuff? Is that anything in the future?
I would love to, but it all boils down to
the money.
Money,
Yeah.
baby. But
Yeah.
the thing I love about Time Attack is it's you in the car and the clock. Um, I grew up playing golf, and that's pretty much how that game is as well. It's, you and your score, just hitting this ball around, and you want to do it the least amount of times as possible. With Time Attack, you just want to go as fast as possible, and you're shaving tenths, hundreds, thousandths, and you're not worrying about the next guy unless you're coming right behind them and you're about to crash into them. But for the most part, it's you and your thoughts and your skill and the track. And there's something very therapeutic about that. And I personally haven't found anything in life that taps into a flow state like I do when I'm at the wheel. And Time Attack has given me this gift to tap into that, because I sure as hell aren't gonna jump out of a plane and like skydive and stuff. It's like this is my Zen mode, and that's what it's gifted me, and that's why I love it so much. The thing that I dislike about it, I think the thing that I dislike about it is it's expensive, just as all motorsport is. It's expensive, and the rules are funky. It just some rules don't make sense, and some rules force you to spend money. I think it's kind of like a
Got a specific one that comes to mind?
yes.
One.
Yeah, one. Well, I think the craziest one that I know of, and it's the reason why, and thankfully it's the reason why I have a new bumper, is specific to GTA. There's a rule where you can only have your splitter measured out from your body lines, and it's different between GTA and Grid Life. Grid Life body line is the OEM body line. GTA is like literally whatever your car is considered the body line. So the fact that I have an Ings bumper that goes out like this much past the OEM bumper means that I could run an enormous splitter. And I did my due diligence, and I asked every single, I think I've emailed GTA officials like a million times. It's like, are you sure that if I get a bigger bumper, that means I could get a bigger splitter? They're like, yeah. And I had to cut my splitter last year because I had a little lip around my bumper. So my splitter was like this big. And they didn't consider the lip part of the body line.
Sure.
I just think that's stupid, straight up. I think it's dumb. It makes no sense. Aerodynamically, it makes no sense. Also, like, you can just buy a bumper and it's like fine now, whatever.
Well, yeah.
There was some controversy around that very specific thing in Grid Life this year, and there was a lot of what is the interpretation of the rule where you have cars that come with different bumpers, right? Like, maybe it's a slightly different update. It's just it's a performance version versus a base version, whatever. And so there was a question that became, if the performance version of a bumper actually comes out an additional 2 inches, let's say, right? But I've only got a base version bumper, can my splitter be the same size as someone who has a performance version? But then that means that I get, right, the top surface area gets an additional 2 inches of surface area on the top, right? And so it was wild. I wasn't personally involved. I just sat there watching my popcorn on the Discord, server, for Grid Life as these people, sort of batted around this interpretation, and it got heated. But everybody's, it's cool. Everybody understands, that. But that's, in so many ways, that is what Time Attack is, right? Like pushing the limits of the rules and building a car to the maximum rule set, which I think a lot of us enjoy. Like, that's something that we all have fun doing, is I want to build a car to the maximum rule set and then see where I land.
I mean, that's also just like racing, right? It's like the rules are the rules, and if you're not pushing the rules to the maximum limit, then you're not trying hard enough.
Yep.
That being said, it's like I did have people like telling me like, "Oh, but did the rules say this?" Like switching the semantics around. It's all semantics. It's just like they said this, but what does that actually mean? It's like, well, I don't know. Like, do I need a lawyer to look through this rule book now? Like, and to hire my buddy to look at this? It's like It's pretty insane. But at the end of the day, it's all in good fun. We're all pushing the envelope further and further. Let me add one more dislike about one thing in Time Attack. It's specific to GTA for next year. The tire sizes, and I gotta call this out. I gotta shoot my shot.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're doing changes. That's right.
They're doing changes. So they're gonna so now technically for street class, I would have to run 275s instead of 295s.
Right.
So let's just go ahead and do the thing. Let's delete all of the street class records if that's going to be a thing. Let's just start from scratch because none of it makes sense anymore. Are we ever going to touch the 44 in street class? No. In 275s? I don't know. Maybe.
So I will tell you this, Mike. There's been a multitude of times that rules have been changed, and people always say that exact same thing. They say, you just changed this. There's no way anybody will ever break these records. You have now made this impossible. And then Amir comes out of the woodwork and says, watch out. I'm busy. Watch this. So at the end of the day, I will say, and this is my opinion, I'm wholeheartedly for this. And I say this because let's look at this really quickly. So if I look at the limited class versus street class, there needed to be a further differentiation between those two classes. Street class is burning so close to limited class. They needed to find a way to separate them. And that is a clear and concise way to bridge, to make that gap get further away. So I get why they're doing it. Now, if you're a street class competitor, you're like, screw this. This sucks. Because it is going to make it extraordinarily difficult to get to that point. So I feel you. I absolutely do, because to give you an idea, like one of my biggest complaints in life was I was changing my car from a street class car to limited class. Built my whole car around limited class rules, which had flat bottom aero allowed. So I built my whole aero kit around having this flat bottom. A couple other things as well. By the time I got my car done, it took us literally like 10 months. Got it done. They said, by the way, next year we're not allowing flat bottoms.
Oh, no.
So we did all that work, got all that
tough.
done, and then you go, oh, what? And the premise was is because they looked at the professionally awesome team and other teams that were doing well, and they said, this is a huge advantage, and we want to separate unlimited and limited. So they opened that gap up and said, here, we're going to take away this. And at that point, I said, screw it. I already built this whole aero kit around this, so I'll just move to unlimited and just be done with it. But
I don't know. It's still like going to a 275 is so small.
And you know what else I think?
But what's that?
I think, so me, at least I'll take the blame for this. I have been complaining my ass off about Corvettes and Supras. Like, they immediately take this huge advantage now. And the funny part is, so who else does this hurt now? This also hurts Kilgore and his BMW bros, because as we talked about this earlier, the top 5 competitors are in a Supra or in a BMW in street class. So
They're all BMWs in my book, Jager.
Exactly. So it's very interesting, because as soon as you drop that to everyone has to run 275s, like, I don't know what's gonna. I don't remember if the implication, like what it does for the all-wheel drive guys. I think they still get to run 265s.
I think so. I think it's different for
So that's instantly going to boost people's capabilities in the all-wheel drive community to be more in line, right? And it might, and what I'm thinking it's going to do is going to take people, maybe even like yourself, and go, well, screw street class. I'm just going to go to limited then.
That's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother ball game.
Whole
But
ball of wax.
it's let me just say this. 295s I think are reasonable, because I mean if you do run Corvettes, 295s are about the maximum that you, well, actually I shouldn't say that. 11-inch rims are about the maximum that you can run with Supras, BMWs, most of those cars currently. Corvettes can obviously fit larger than that. So going down to a 275, okay, whatever. I'm not really sure I see the rationale for what that is going to do. I will say this. The comparable classes in Grid Life and SCCA all allow 315s. So like even at 295s, I was undertired. But now this means that if I want to run Global Time Attack, basically if I want to run Super Lap Battle, I've now got to buy a specific set of tires, right, that I'm going to use for that one event, and then I'm done with them, because I'm not going to run them in any other organization.
Yeah.
And not that every other organization needs to be a consideration, but it's just such a drastic difference between a 275 and comparable classes in other organizations running 315s.
Well, I will say this, Kilgore. So I think you just touched on a very important part here. So something that we've talked about throughout this interview with Mike, money, right? We're literally talking about you're forcing people to run a smaller tire than desired in classes that they would normally expect to run a bigger tire. You are inherently charging and costing them more money than what they would normally run.
Yep.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing in a series that's paid for and operated by essentially the drivers?
Yeah. The thing I'm worried about is okay, 275, that's not a huge step down from 295s. The question is though, is that I wanted to go to 11-inch wheels all the way around, so an 18 or 19 by 11.
You be stretching in.
I don't know if I can run, right? Like I have a legitimate question on, can I stretch 275s onto an 11? Maybe not, right? Like you might really have some stretch there. So then it's like, gosh, do I have to buy a specific set of rims?
10.5, yeah.
Like a 10 to run 275, right? Like, so that's just, I echo Mike's sort of complaint there of this 275. With that being said, Jager, I do agree with you. It's definitely going to knock the competitors' times down a couple of rungs. But we know this with tire technology. The 275 tire compounds are going to be as fast as 295 compounds in the next couple of years, 2-3 years, right? Like we'll find a way to get that time back, but it's definitely making it harder to chase those records. And I do kind of agree that I think that there maybe needs to be an asterisk anytime there's a significant rule change. And I say a change in tire size is fairly significant to have an asterisk by those records. That's just me.
I get you. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'll be interested to see what it does to street class as a whole. I do imagine people are just going to move up to limited. You're probably going to see a kind of a vacating situation. But like for the all-wheel drive guys, for the front-wheel drive guys, they're probably just going to be hanging tight. To kind of give you an idea, like when I look at the list, when I look at like John Lugod, you got Oscar Jackson, some of these guys, in the lower echelons here. I think. Oh, sorry, those are in limited class, but you get my drift. Like some of the front wheel drive guys, the rear wheel drive guys that have like a more narrow body, like FRS, BRZ, it's really going to help them be able to work up that ladder a bit. but again, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting. But I can see, like, if I'm you, again, that you're either committing and working down a process of like, I'm going to run GTA a lot, so I'm going to run these 275 tires, and it's going to work out great. But guys who are trying to run both, this is where, again, we go down this weird path with Time Attack and we saw this back in the day with GTA and Redline. When their rules were not completely parallel, people complained a lot because they go, well, I'm supposed to run both these series, and now I got to, like Kilgore did it for the SCCA stuff, I got to make all these changes to my car to go run in a similar type class. And it makes it pretty exhausting for people that are having to shell all this money out of their pockets without a payout at the end. So it makes it really difficult. I don't want to harp too much on we're going to eventually do a whole like probably series here coming up about rules, Time Attack rules in general as they start coming out with next year's, where we're going to be hitting those pretty hard and complaining our asses off, because that's what we do. So do us a favor, though, Mike. So tell us where people can follow along with you. Make sure that we get that information out there. I kind of skipped over that to start the episode here.
Yeah, you can find me on it.
As you do that, tell us a little bit about Boss Racing as well. Obviously, those two things are sort of tied together. Yeah, right. Give us a little bit of background. Is that for that as well?
Well, it's funny because Boss Racing was just like a joke to begin with. It was like my girlfriend and I were co-driving the Supra. We were going to like HPDEs, and I would take a turn, she would take a turn. I was like, we need to make like a fake racing team. And her nickname growing up was Boss, and in film school, my nickname was Boss. And then that was kind of just how it worked out. It's like super weird. So that's how it came about. And I just kept going with it. And then people kept asking me, like, what is this? I'm like, I have no idea. And now it's blown up to a thing that I have no idea. Like, look at me now. It's like, the joke is in too deep. I can't go back now. So that's what Boss Racing is. But mostly Boss Racing now is me just working on my Supra or the Civic. And I make those cool little POV mounts that you see a lot of people at the tracks using. But mostly I just want to make cool content and show people how fun Time Attack is. It's just, that's kind of my deal. I want to peel back the curtain. I want to like quit the whole gatekeeping thing. I just want to have fun on track and show people how much fun it is. I want people out there with me. I want my friends out there with me. So, oh yeah, that's it. That's the Boss Vision right there. Boom. We just came out with a new one that's like really cool. You could permanently affix it to your visor now, which is an option. You don't have to do that, but yeah, it gives you like the best POV like ever. It gets like an inch away from your real eye line, which is nuts. But you can find me on Instagram, Boss Racing, or on YouTube, Boss Racing. But yeah, man. I mean, I really appreciate you guys having me on this podcast. You know, I do look to you guys for updates on anything Time Attack, and you guys are doing good work and always, you know, trying to push the sport to more eyes. And I think I really appreciate you guys for it.
Well, we appreciate you tuning in, watching us, and obviously we love having you on the show, helping us out, getting the word out. We love understanding what the drivers go through, what the teams go through. And it sounds like, you know, at the end of the day, you could always use an extra crew member. So, you know, we'll always put that flag out there for you. You never need a guy to, you know, tighten a wheel or two. Yeah, man, it's been a journey, and we're excited to see you continue to take your car to new heights. You know, I know you're going to take this year and you're going to evaluate a little bit. But, I mean, for me, I truly hope to see you out at COTA and see what else you can do. I'm really excited to see what this EG brings for you. You know, it's always fun to watch people kind of try out a new car and get things going. I think that's always just such a fun thing to watch. And, yeah, man, it's been a good time. All right, Kilgore, send us out, sir.
Mike, absolutely. Everything Jager just said. We appreciate you coming on the show. You guys can, as always, find us on YouTube, Spotify, keep up with us on Instagram, Perfect Lap Podcast. If you want to email the show, maximum_attack@perfectlappodcast. That's maximum_attack@perfeclappodcast. We hope you enjoyed this one. We got plenty more shows coming up for you in the future. So keep fighting for that perfect lap. We'll catch you in the next one.
Go fast. Take chances, guys.